I have one more quick question, and I have so rippling goosebumps about it. My girlfriend, Elizabeth, was supposed to come with me today, and she's super healthy, super active, young, 48, and she croaked about a week ago, suddenly, or maybe less, and like one of my best girlfriends in Sedona, and we had a beautiful memorial at my house for her, remembering a gathering. It was so sweet. And when I walked in today, the slideshow that we made for her, the song was playing when I walked in because I'm happy. I couldn't believe it. Of course it was. Yeah. But she was getting progressively more and more happy in her life and living this fantastic life and so excited about what was unfolding for her. She was sort of coming into a new relationship, and she had many, many things that she was happy and excited about. So I just wanted to hear a little bit about that. Like, she was the happiest I ever had seen her, and this was a happy girl who was even happier.
So we're sensing your question, but be more specific about the things that you're wondering about.
Well, what I specifically am wondering about is I have lots of things that I'm excited and happy for, and I don't. And I don't actually want to live
announce to you
yes.
that this scoundrel that came into your life will keep you grounded in this life experience for a while. If that's the correct assumption, we're playing with you. But if the correct assumption is, if I get happy, whoosh, I'm out of here. Then bless you, troubling one, because I'm not ready to go.
No, that's not the question. The question is, I had personal knowledge of so many things she actually was looking forward to doing next, and it was surprising to me.
And she will. So this is the most significant thing about this relationship. Mm-hmm. No one ever dies. No one ever goes anywhere.
Right.
No one ever leaves. The attention and focus upon all of those things that she was interested in is keener now than it ever was. And those like you will be the beneficial recipients of that inspiration, which is broader point of view about those things that she was excited about. Mm-hmm. This is such a big topic, isn't it? The topic because humans, and we're not necessarily talking about you, although there's a little bit of it there in the way that you presented this. You first you want negative emotion to be a bad thing when really it's a clarifying thing. And most of you really think that death is a bad thing when what it is a reemergence into pure positive energy and a releasing of all resistance thing. Mm-hmm. But we get it, how when you get focused in this time-space reality and you have things that you're really interested about, it feels like you should stay here in this time-space reality. Mm-hmm. But if you've been listening to us lately, and we've been talking about how there is no separation between what is physical and non-physical, and that the continuum of life that you all are noticing is really about non-physical never leaving you and continuing to focus with you in the things that you're about here. It's time for you to embrace that understanding. In other words, how else do you explain the continuity of well, let's start in another place. Sometimes you think that it's just another generation being born, and that you are passing along what I've learned on this physical trail mantle to one another. Mm-hmm. And certainly there is that takes place in your physical world, but it's not the big part of life, it's not the best part of life, and it's not what keeps all of this moving along in the way that it does. What really is keeping it moving along in the way that it does is the fact that none of you ever leave. You never leave. And the things that in your physical environment, in your physical businesses, in your physical relationships that you're finding fascinating and interesting, that even when you make your transition to the non-physical, you still find it fascinating and interesting. The difference is you have no doubt, you have no fear, you have no resistance about it, you see. Mm-hmm. Now, we know these words do not fall softly on the ears of humans who are still dreading death or worried about death or not wanting death or still counting death as among the last things that you want or among the things that are bad. But if anything, we want you to accept that there is no separation, there is no vibrational difference between being in this physical body and flowing to and through this physical body from that broader vantage point. And so those like your friend, and those like Jerry, and those like so many that you know, if you have the privilege of being up close to someone and really knowing what was ringing their bells, and now they have reemerged into non-physical, and you are still feeling the bell ringing, it helps you to understand this perfect continuum or continuity that is this eternal life that we are all a part of. And we're going to make a bold statement that until you get that, you're not really living in your physical body. You're still tentative. You're still protective. You're still feeling risk that is unnecessary. You're not fully alive. You're not fully alive. You got to give up this death thing. You got to give it up because there isn't any. So, but what is there? So what is it about? What is it about death? You're the perfect person to ask, and give us as succinct of answers as you can. What is it about death that is unsettling?
I'm not super unsettled about death, actually.
Well, but then speak for the masses of what you may have.
It's
a separation.
Yeah.
It's a separation, not true. It's an ending to something, also not true. It's a separation from loved ones, not true.
Unfulfilled desires.
It's unfulfilled desires, also not true. That's what we meant when we said earlier that your desire is our desire. Yeah.
Okay.
So finally putting that aside, and then experiencing it firsthand is only someone like you or Esther can do, because you have awareness of these people, and now you are receiving their inspiration. Oh. Did any of you plan to come and stay for like 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 years or So you all knew it was a temporary experience, actually focused in this physical body. But did any of you know that since you are eternal, and since this is a time-space reality in which you are focused, that even after you make your transition to the non-physical, your interest and delight in this time-space reality never ceases. And that's that vortex that we're talking about. That's where all of us hang around, in what you call dreams that we know as reality, in what you call future that we know as present, in what you use to club yourself about the head and neck, in discomfort that it hasn't come to fruition, as what we know has already come to fruition. And so it is our delight to stand in that knowing and to catch you in an aligned moment and remind you of what you knew, so that you can receive the inspiration of what we know, and for that moment know what we know. So what you call non-physical and what you call death lives on through you in your aligned moments. That's why your aligned moments feel so good to you. Helpful?
Yes.
Leading edge? Stuff you didn't know before? Stuff you're glad to know? It puts the we're all into this together in a context that is realer for you than it has been. The value of a physical life experience can't be measured by its length. It's only by its vibration. But the true value of it really comes after you've made your reemergence into non-physical, and you can then take all of that knowing and inspire the next and the next and the next, you see. Yeah. Yeah, you can have a really good time.